ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching the show. This is your top human rights organization review. I'm your host, Bryce Dolan. Now, in an earlier segment, we've talked a number of times about the Colombian president and the peace deal he has reached with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or the FARC. And while he received the Nobel Peace Prize for being able to reach a peace agreement after over 50 years of conflict, we have some unfortunate news. When accepting his hard-earned Peace Prize at the Nobel ceremony in Stockholm on Friday, President Juan Manuel Santos predicted that one of the great legacies of Colombia's peace process would be the creation of a model of transitional justice that allows us to obtain maximum justice without sacrificing peace. Now, if only that were true. After the prize was announced in October, the president's negotiators had indeed worked with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia to improve the justice provisions of the original deal, which had been narrowly defeated in a national plebiscite on October 2nd, in part due to legitimate concerns that FARC war criminals wouldn't face meaningful punishment for their war crimes. Now, the new agreement that emerged in November included language that could, with the passage of appropriate implementing legislation, salvage these provisions and secure at least a minimal degree of justice for their victims. Yet remarkably, just hours before the new peace agreement was signed and sent to Congress for approval, Santos decided unilaterally to undo one of the most important improvements. By striking out a new paragraph already approved by the FARC, he restored an effective guarantee of impunity for army officers so brazen that even the guerrilla commanders were no longer willing to accept it for themselves. The original peace agreement contained a flawed definition of the principle of command responsibility that could shield commanders from prosecution for atrocities committed by their troops, except in cases where they had control over the commission of the crimes. Under the standard definition that is enshrined in international law, commanders also bear criminal responsibility if they had effective control over the troops who committed the crimes, even if they were not involved in the criminal conduct itself. Now, the paragraph that was added to and then removed from the new agreement established that the international definition would hold sway. In its absence, the foot soldiers who pulled the trigger can still be held to account, but their superiors who had the ability to prevent the atrocities and didn't will not be prosecuted. Given that the International Criminal Court, or the ICC, prosecutor is closely monitoring the war crimes investigations in Colombia, they have reason to be concerned. If flaws in the system set up by the peace agreement deny victims genuine justice, the ICC could open its own investigations. Indeed, before the new deal was unveiled, the Office of the Prosecutor had said it would review potential legal gaps in the agreement, including in relation to command responsibility. Many principled people have justified Santos's willingness to sacrifice victims' access to justice as a necessary price to pay to secure a peace deal with the FARC. But the final and arguably most egregious sacrifice was neither sought nor approved by FARC negotiators. It was rather a stunning capitulation to military commanders seeking impunity for atrocities committed by their troops and taking advantage of the peace process to obtain it. So again, unfortunately, after the peace agreement was reached in Colombia and right before it was approved by Congress, the president just decided himself to take out the paragraph that was the standard definition of command responsibility, which would eventually prosecute 14 of his high-ranking officers in his military, along with officers of the FARC forces. So he took out the standard definition so his high-ranking officers can be protected and won't be prosecuted. Now, is that right? I don't believe so, because the standard definition of command responsibility is engraved into international law, meaning everybody must abide by it. So, unfortunately, after this great news of this peace deal in Colombia, we see Colombia take a few steps back after implementing this peace agreement. So as soon as we get more information and what's going to really happen, and if this peace agreement will be revised again, who knows? Once that information comes available, we will update you and let you know. But that does it for the Top Human Rights Organization review, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to check out this article in its entirety, you can click on the link below in the description, and I encourage you to do so. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified every time a new video is posted. Give our Facebook pages a like and follow us on Twitter. But thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I was your host, Bryce Dolan.